Capitalism. I've been wanting to talk about this topic for a really long time that I've scrapped almost 3 videos over this, but I was thinking what tone should I even incorporate, and now I figured it out. A tone that sounds like I wanna fucking throw capitalism. Capitalism is not widely talked about in Growtopia, a fundamental concept essential to understanding the structure and the origin of Growtopia's economy. Like, why do world locks even exist? Or why are players nowadays so greedy and profit-centered? And why are players so obsessed with becoming rich? But you're in good luck, because I'm back to uncover all of these. Well, not really back. Maybe this is like my once in every 5 months video. First, let us define free market capitalism. Adam Smith, the asshole who invented capitalism, defines a free market capitalism as an economic system that supports the free flow of capital and goods between individuals without government interference. He contends that the human is self-serving and therefore needs to fulfill their interests. And he argued that by giving everyone the freedom to produce and exchange goods as they please, people's natural self-interest would promote greater prosperity than government regulations. Okay, I threw a lot of words here and there, but simply put, the way money works in the real world is capitalism. You're poor? Blame it on capitalism. Something's expensive? Blame it on capitalism. You're sad? Blame it on capitalism. One's ability to buy and sell something and own private property are the very core characteristics of capitalism. In the real world, governments regulate economies to a degree, while in Growtopia, no one does, because it's weird. JK, it's neoliberal. There are no price controls nor strict regulations imposed upon the economy. It abides by Adam Smith's vision of capitalism. Free. Well, I hope everything was free. So all that yapping aside, let's get to the real yapping. So how did world locks even start? Well, it has been around Growtopia since 2013, and its main purpose was, by its name if you still can't tell, was locking worlds. However, what made this item more significant than any other item in the player shop was that it gave the best world security that other locks could not provide. I mean, literally, it could protect everything you had in the world, and you don't have to worry about griefers trying to find holes in your world to grief anymore. So everybody wanted it. But at the time, it costed 10,000 gems, which was later reduced to 2,000. But still, at the time of the game's launch, this was still an amount that took large amounts of time to achieve. Like, literally, could you imagine just having sugar canes as your best farmable and it only gave you a few couple mere gems? What more trying to reach thousands? Yeah, it would take forever. This demand in world locks popularized it as a trade currency, and aside from that, gem trading was not possible. And the only way players could determine an item's worth in trade was through world locks. But okay, why not other items like signal jammers? Well, the answer is simple, because unlike other items in the shop, world locks have its variants with smaller values. Small locks, big locks, huge locks, etc. So one wouldn't have to worry about having to trade fixed on gems of 2000s. Basically, they could trade items that are less than a world lock's worth. Well, it's certainly interesting of how world locks came to be as a significant part of the economy, because, well, players do need to adopt innovative strategies so that they could achieve efficiency. A barter trade system without money just wouldn't have worked in Growtopia, and at the very least, even if it was just a world lock, it helped streamline communications with other people in trading items. In short, there was stability. Even Karl Marx believed that a stable economic system is a pillar of society, and just without it, society would collapse. Evolution begets evolution. Growth begets growth. But as we know it today, this quickly became a noticeable problem. Poverty gap instantaneously became a grave issue in Growtopia, the division of classes, the rich and the poor. While Growtopia is capitalistic in nature, as mentioned earlier, it is neoliberal. There just simply isn't slavery and feudalism that can be comparable to a real-world capitalism nowadays. In Hegel's and Marx's book, The Communist Manifesto, they highlight the existence of class struggle over the distribution of resources between the elite and the working class. Because in the real world, just no matter how hard you work for the items you produce to consume, it is the elites you work for that benefit the most. But thank God, oh my God, I mean it does exist to a certain degree, but in Growtopia, such struggle rarely exists. The gap between the rich and the poor in the game is mainly caused by differences in intelligence and effort. Now, I'm not saying that poor people are stupid, but maybe they just need to get onto that little grind, you know? I mean, it's like any other game. Growtopia is just the same with any other game. You can't progress, you can't be good, you can't be skilled if you don't even try. So those capable of navigating through the free market wins while those incapable of doing so are left in the rugs. Those who understand the market the most are the real victors in this game of wealth. Basically, it's not for the faint of heart. Or mind. But hey, even if we're not entirely a slave to a lord, we're a slave to our own ambitions. It's our only driving motivation. In the early years, world locks as a currency used to serve one and only one purpose: to allow players to do anything that they wanted to do in the game. But as of the late, it served a new purpose: to feed our egos and stay on top of the game. Okay, so now before further elaborate, I thought this might be a little interesting to ponder on. I'm sure most of us have wondered why players are extremely profit-centered nowadays. Well, let me tell you, it's not entirely Growtopia's problem. Allow me to yap. First, the emergence of esports gaming as it quickly and exponentially gained popularity, especially during the pandemic, highly influenced the perception of people towards gaming. There is not a single popular multiplayer game that does not involve ranking and competition one way or another. Yes, everything nowadays is about competition, about feeding your ego, which leads me to my next point. Second, we seek gratification. Weibo interpreted the gratifications concept as relevant to an individual's reactions to media use experiences, which in turn can influence further motivation for media use. The more we satisfy our brain's reward system by fulfilling our ambitions and desires, such as winning something rare from a gacha or profiting tons of diamond locks, the more we're intrinsically motivated to continue playing the game. Third, Growtopia has been around for 10 years. We're always looking for something new to satisfy ourselves. Players could not simply confine themselves anymore to just building or socializing. What we thirst for nowadays is action, the thrill of winning something, the satisfaction of watching the fruits of our labor bear because of our hard work and effort. And lastly, as we grow up, we gradually get immersed into the competitive nature of reality. We learn the feeling of working hard for something and earning so much from that. We learn how to set goals and targets for ourselves. We learn how to be ambitious, and we learn how to work towards achieving all of that. So yeah, we have our own individual ambitions and desires, something we want to work for, whether it's building a new world, buying a new set, or getting that dream item you've longed to get. But on top of that, there is one part of the game that drives the game wild. Epic quests. Epic quests offer a wide array of difficult tasks to complete. It explores every part of the game and comes with a reward so promising that one cannot just simply refuse to have it: a sponsored item. Players remain oblivious to this fact, but the majority actually work hard to level, with the richest and most sustaining players like Buy Plus World owners and JW7?
Wait. Oh my god, so let's do this now. Let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Oh my god! Okay.
Until they become capable enough of taking on what seemingly is considered as probably the end game of Growtopia. A simple economic observation is enough to justify this. The inflation of items tied to these quests, whether they're the ones that you have to submit or the items needed to produce them, or the items needed to produce the items needed to produce them. I guess another reason that I can pretty much think of is FOMO. FOMO, or fear of missing out. Players have often complained how updates have been rich-centric, leaving those with no wealth with nothing to bother with. The abundance of items and events every month has made it difficult for a regular player to catch up with the game. Cause I mean, imagine disconnecting yourself from the game for a year completely, then once you return, you're now unfamiliar and confused, left behind. But I don't believe that's a bad thing, because you're not really forced to know these new items and features in the first place. Yes, you may be overwhelmed, but boy, I tell you, it maybe is just a phase. There should be no pressure in you. In fact, that could simply just mean that there's a lot to discover as you come back to it. But the real question is, are they interesting enough? That judgment, I leave to you. Okay, let's get straight into it and narrow down our reasons even further. When and how did Growtopia actually become an economy simulator? Like, you know, an exact point in time, if you get me. Well, capitalism has already been in the game ever since it was first launched, ever since world locks were introduced and discovered and used by everyone else. But this was further amplified to a much larger magnitude when vending machines were introduced in 2015. This was the start of a new revolution, a change so large that changed the game's meta forever. It was one of the first instances where the game actually recognized world locks as a popularized currency. It drastically sped up the process of buying and selling, most especially in large quantities. Though this made trading much more efficient, it killed an important aspect of the game: socialization. Vending machines killed off social interaction as players did not need to meet anymore, an irreversible action that left a permanent stain on the game. But do I care? No, I really do not, because all I care about is world locks. Yes, I am one of those greedy capitalists, so can you blame me? I mean, you're probably the same. On top of that, the wild decision to allow players to carry more wealth in their inventories fueled inflation to the point of hyperinflation. Diamond Locks itself already had its share of economic problems, which led to inflated prices. Then Ubisoft decided to be foolish and added Blue Gem Locks to the pool. So the players' obsession with world locks grew larger as the satisfaction that came along with holding so much wealth in their inventories became more psychologically pleasing, meaning more dopamine. So is it the developer's fault entirely? No. It was the individual and shared ambitions of Growtopians that made Growtopia a profit-centered game, which led to high-end competition in the market that prioritized earning world locks over anything else. Growtopians started believing that earning world locks on a continual basis was necessary to enjoy the game, and the repetitive nature of it is due to the fear of loss. We believe that we need to keep profiting to keep ourselves feeling secure. Cause hey, no world locks, no fun.